Live the Dream Media Network is proud to host an Arizona legend. His remarkable journey spans college and pro basketball, business excellence, and community leadership at the highest level. Get ready for insightful conversations, expert analysis, and a unique perspective that only one man can deliver. This is the Bob Elliott Show, exclusively on the Live the Dream Media Network.
Welcome to the Bob Elliott Show, where we will educate and have fun regarding various Tucson, Southern Arizona, state of Arizona, and national events. We will not be about politics or religion. We will emphasize leaders in our community and what they do, why they do it, and how they do it. For example, the mayor of Tucson, Regina Romero. Yes, she's the mayor of Tucson. She runs the city of Tucson. But what does she do on her daily day of activities? How does she do it? Why does she do it? Take President Cherez Garamella at the University of Arizona. Yes, he's the president of the University of Arizona. He runs the University of Arizona. What does he do? How does he do it? What is his day like? You can even take Arizona Corporation Commissioner Leah Marquez Peterson. Yes, she's one of the 5 Arizona Corporation Commissioners for the state of Arizona. What does she do? How does she do it? Why does she do it? There are a lot of organizations in our town, great organizations, that provide services for our community. Who are they? What do they do? Are they eligible to receive an Arizona tax credit? That is who we are. That is what we will do on a weekly basis. My first guest is Dominic Ortega. He is the Tucson 25 Man of the Year, photographer extraordinaire, photographs that at major Tucson fundraisers, and he posts them on his well-regarded vast media network. Please welcome to the Bird's Nest, Dominic Ortega.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, Dominic. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Really, it's a privilege to be here with you, buddy.
Well, we were talking earlier. Bev and I tell our grandkids there's only one, number one, and you're the first guest in the Bird's Nest.
Thank you, sir.
So one of the things we do at our African American Museum of Southern Arizona is we tape a lot of oral histories. Mm-hmm. It's an opportunity for people to tell their story in their words without it being edited. So starting with you today, Dominic, let's learn something about you. Where were you born? Tell us about your upbringing, about your siblings, your parents. Give us a background on Dominic Ortega.
Okay. Born in Brownsville, Texas, but pretty much raised in Arizona. I'm the third of 7 children, and born to probably one of the biggest blessings in my life, born to 2 incredible self-made individuals. My father adored my mom. I kind of learned that from him as far as really caring for your partner. And my mom was just kind of a self-made woman, and they made the perfect partnership, a great example of life. And that was the beginning. That set me mind-wise as far as thinking about being good to people, helping people.
Well, people in town, when they see your face now, they're going to say, oh, that's the guy at all the fundraisers taking pictures.
Yeah.
So the question I have is, when did your love for photography begin?
Well, I was actually the yearbook photographer, got into it a bit, but then I realized soon that, gosh, I could come across a really pretty young lady, and she liked having her picture taken, So I'm like, hey, this might work for me,
right?
So it evolved from high school, and really at college, I continued on with it because I met the love of my life there 50 years ago,
Ooh.
And it was, again, to be able to hey, I would like to take some pictures of you, model for me everything appropriate. They're on campus. I still have those pictures, Bob. Pictures of us on campus.
I think the key is you said appropriate pictures.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. As my girl's a little Catholic girl, and she's a little cutie. And But that evolved and just beyond college, working and whatnot, and it's really been a way of, as you say, historical, kind of sharing a message. Some people say, hey, you're the historian or you're the society photographer.
Yes.
And there are very few now who are like, who is he? No, somebody in the crowd is always like, that's Dominic Ortega. You want to be in his pictures. You want him to take your picture. It's come to the point where some people will say, if Dominic didn't take your picture, were you there?
Right.
Or did it even happen? I mean, that's a really big honor. It truly is.
It's funny that you just said something. I'm going to skip around because we're just going to sit here and as the kids call it, chop it up. Us older folks say just have a good conversation. And so since you knew Miriam about 50 years, did I just see that you just had your 69th birthday?
2 days ago, turned 69.
Now, what some people might not know about you, every once in a while you'll post a picture of yourself doing a handstand.
Yes.
Dude, you can still do a handstand at 69?
I hosted an event this Saturday for El Rio, and somebody came up to me and went like this. And I'm like, oh, I know what that means. And my wife's like, oh, go on. Just empty your pockets first time. I carry cash in my pocket. And sometimes I'm a money piñata when I'm upset. The money splashes out.
Right.
And so, yes, I even have video evidence. I still do it today.
That is impressive. Because I'm 70. And don't even ask me to think about doing a handstand. I don't think so.
I thought you were going to make me ask me to do it here on the table. And, if this table can hold my weight, I'd be doing it.
I don't think we want to try that. Because then that way, in case the table doesn't hold you, we're in trouble. And then put it this way, if the table can't hold you, I know it cannot hold me.
Yeah.
Okay? So, how do you choose the different organizations to go take photographs at?
A lot of it is a matter of just interactions with the community. Really, it started about 17 years ago. I was invited to a group, the University of Arizona Hispanic Alumni Association, and didn't know it well. And they said, my company said, want you to present a check, and found out that it was a wonderful story. I mean, it was an incredible story. And yet they were struggling as far as raising some money. They'd had some success in the past. And so I said, well, if I'm going to do this, they would say, just become president for 2 months. You host a little dinner. We'll raise $20,000, $30,000, and that's it. And I said, no, I worked for a mega corporation, $35 billion company, and I was a kind of a marketing sales guy. And I said, I want to do better than that. So set a plan, got everything going, hosted a dinner, and raised $325,000 for that dinner. So all of a sudden, people really like me, like that. They know my name. And I'd say the bug kind of bit me then to be able to tell this story, because it was an amazing story. And then when you share that and people were like, whoa, and that's how they went from that small amount of the $25,000, $30,000 dinner to a man who's become a very dear friend, Humberto Lopez.
Yes.
I hadn't met him, told him this story, said, my gosh, this little club, if they get just $1, Bert, from this scholarship fund, their graduation rate goes from 45% to 90%. And he's like, whoa. He says, and I said, it's like you're interviewing me to give me a job. He says, well, you just got the job, and boom, 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 $325,000. And ever since then, I would just evolve, and I go to these events, learn their story, and then I share their story.
You hit the word, to me, the key word is community.
Yeah.
And those of us that have made that commitment to live in Tucson, it's about our community. It's a special community. And you talked about Humberto and Sarina Lopez, who also do it so well, which is the giving back. Okay, and whether you give back in time or give back in money, whatever it is, we need to give back to our community. And you do such a good job of that by utilizing your talents as a photographer, which are amazing. I mean, the things you do. So let's talk about some of the ones that you've been at, some of the ones that you've done.
Okay, and like I said, there are kind of two phases that I go to. There are those breakfasts and lunches and dinners, Special Olympics, youth on their own, a lot of the lunches, education enrichment. These are stories, and two of the biggest areas that I really enjoy are dealing with education and healthcare. El Rio Health, and because I see such needs, and then I want to make sure that we get the biggest return on investment. El Rio helps 130,000 patients.
Wow.
That's a huge, huge number. 1 out of every 8 Tucsonans
Right.
use their services. And those are important services when we're talking about your kids' dentistry, that your kids coughing and then even now for mental health. So that's one phase of it, and that's where I wind up going to 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 events in 1 year. But then I always love those major galas.
Right.
The Heart Ball.
You like getting dressed up.
Oh,
I've seen that.
I love getting dressed up. I'll tell you.
You and
And
Miriam both. Y'all like getting dressed up.
we do. I actually shop for her. She hasn't bought a dress in 10 years. I buy all her dresses.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. and her girlfriend say, "Oh, Miriam, I want to go shopping with you." She says, "Go with my husband. He buys all my clothes."
Right.
But as I say, Heart Ball, Angel Ball, TMC, these are the major events, and a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into that. But again, the return on investment. You have an event at the Heart Ball, and let's say we'd raised like $500,000 for that, but about $1.2 million comes back to our community,
Right.
because of the research that's done at the University of Arizona. When I see things like that, it's like magic, man. I mean, because you're getting double these dollars back. And it makes a great return. And in the end, it's an impact on our community.
Yes,
That's
yes.
that's the biggest deal.
A lot of people do not know some of the facts about our community and why it is a community that needs people to step up and help. For example, income, family of 4 in Tucson is $58,000 a year. Now, compared to national numbers, that's way low. So consequently, there are still services and needs that we have. So we have to find ways to get that. Yeah. And that's what these nonprofits do in this town. They try to help people that have a need and need a service. And that's in what you do is such a big help. So I want to talk about specifically some of the ones that you've done and maybe some memories you have of them that might be funny. I'll start with our own. Okay, so you came and you did the Julius Dr. J fireside chat we had last January. And so what was your thought about that? What did you see there that turned Dominic Ortega on to start snapping some pictures?
Well, of course, the man is a legend. And, just see that interaction. And I especially like seeing the younger people, how they're in such awe of this individual. And there's that presence, and the man spoke to life. It wasn't so much about all his accolades as it was about, I think, being a good person, being a good human being, making a difference. So when you see and hear stories like that, and again, that's what really will touch people. And in terms of saying, wow, that's why he's special, so it's great.
Yeah, well, our next fireside chat for the museum will be February 18th.
Okay.
And a dear friend of ours, Tony Dungy.
Yeah.
Tony is an NFL Hall of Fame coach, first black coach to win a Super Bowl. You can see him every Sunday night on NBC, Sunday Night Football, and he's one of the analysts there. And so I know you'll be there again to capture the life of what's going on, which you do so well. I saw you also at the EEF, the Educational Enrichment Foundation one, which I love that, where they give the an award for the Humanitarian of the Year. And this time it was Richard Castellum and his family. Yeah. My wife received it 2 years ago, and they do such a good job with that. But what are some of your thoughts about the EEF, or Educational Enrichment Foundation event?
Again, there's positive and negatives from the standpoint that it's a wonderful, you have these wonderful organizations, but it's sad that we need all this additional help.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've actually gave a presentation, and it was Philanthropist of the Year 2019, and I said, and there's a room, 800 people, and representing every nonprofit, and part of my presentation was, I wish you didn't exist.
Right.
I wish the need wasn't there for housing, for food, for shelter. It's a shame that here we are in this country and not able to provide basic needs for people. But it is what it is, and that's another thing that I kind of do. I got a Hispanic Chamber, kind of a community award, known for collaboration. That's why as I find all these things, I say, oh, this person needs help. I can go to Impact of Southern Arizona. This person needs money for his dentures. He doesn't have enough money. They have an emergency fund there, or this student just got kicked out of high school, and their parents say, you're out. We want them to finish school. We want them to finish up, and they're actually paid to go to high school. So any collaborations that I can find, I love those things. It's more efficient.
Right. You said that you did the Angel Ball.
Angel Ball is a blast, and they just keep raising the bar. First of all, in the dollars they raise, in the quality of the event, but many people do not realize how hard these ladies work. They, you see them, they're all glammed up. My gosh. They work, I don't want to say like dog breath. I mean, they work hard, and they put together an outstanding event. And what's so great about it is because, then they give $700,000 to Youth on Their Own to pay for that building, or $600,000 to Big Brothers Big Sisters for that facility. So that way their dollars of those organizations can go into services rather than having to pay for a mortgage and things like that. Right. So and their reach is broad, very, very broad through the community and through decades and decades of service. I'm real proud to be a friend of them.
Yeah. Now, last night, I guess you were at another event. I saw you posted some pictures. Teachers Value. Help me out
Tucson Values Teachers.
Tucson Values Teachers.
Yeah.
So what was that event like?
Again, unsung heroes. I even posted on my Facebook. I said, don't you have a teacher that you loved? I said, post their name here, and I always try and add a little trick to it. I said, post their name. I'm going to pull out a hat, and whichever one I pull out, I'm going to donate $100 to the Teaching Association.
Okay.
I try and do something like that. But it's just honoring teachers who, again, go so far above and beyond in their own job. And my wife was a retired school teacher. She retired 15 years ago. I retired 10 years ago. And just knowing all the extra efforts that she put in there, and you saw it in there. And the interviewees were their little students,
right.
Third graders and then the fifth graders in high school. And sometimes they're like my mom, the little child says, and that makes a difference in their life. It's a huge impact. They deserve those awards and more.
They deserve some love. They
do.
My mother and father were both educators. Beverly was a counselor for a number of years in TUSD. And face it, teachers do not do this job for the money.
No, that's
they
for sure.
do it to make an impact on the students. And I can see it even when people come up to my wife and say, Mrs. Elliott, you were my teacher. Like the other afternoon was the NAACP or Image Awards in Tucson. And this lady comes up, and I think she said she graduated in 2002 from high school. But Mrs. Elliott, you were my counselor.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what they do it for. It's really great. It's really great. Like I said, it's a special place in my heart, having seen my parents go through being teachers and people coming up to them. So it's wonderful.
You're right. Education helps in so many ways. A person's health, a person's financial health. I really believe education is one of the greatest solutions for our entire system, our entire society. And really, I wish we had more people really standing behind it and putting the priority there that it deserves.
Well, as you heard on my intro, the Bob Elliott Show is going to be about educating and having fun.
I'm with you, man.
And so we want people to understand what people do, why they do it in this community. A lot of people see names, they see faces. What do they do? What are they about? These different organizations, these nonprofits that you do so well of taking pictures of, they need help. And a lot of times it means that they need money to be able to do the day-to-day operations. But it's just something where you have to have in your heart the ability and wanting to help.
You're absolutely right. I actually had I have a person, someone call me up and say, Tom, I'm new to the community. What should I get involved with? I said, well, I've got a list of 50 nonprofits here.
Wow.
I'm going to take you to lunch, and I'm going to talk to you about them, and then we're going to see what touches your heart.
Yes,
I don't
yes.
want to say, this is what you need to do.
Right.
No, it has to touch your heart. It has to speak to you. And then I'll pick up the phone and call the CEO and say, hey,
Right.
you got a volunteer, you got somebody who's going to give you money or whatever. And, that's the way to connect things, so you're not forcing anything. And I've always my success has been a win-win-win situation.
Yes.
And that's the greatest thing. Again, but so many of these nonprofits are unknown stories.
Exactly.
And I'll tell somebody about them, and they'll say, I've never heard of them. I said, well, does that sound good to you? Let's let you volunteer over there. Let's get you over there. And that's been a real point of pride for me, to be able to say, when somebody says, I have never heard of that organization, I say, it's amazing. You're gonna, and then they come back to me and they said, my gosh, I read books to these third graders,
right.
Or I helped deliver food to this elderly couple, and that elderly couple was so appreciative. Yeah, it's. I know I do a lot, but you know what? I get a lot.
That's
I really
right.
do. I really do, buddy.
That's the best pay in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, filling your heart. You've brought a couple other awards here with you. Why don't you share with everybody some of the things that you brought in?
Oh, it was just kind of for fun, kind of reminding me. Yeah, this was a busy year. Oh my gosh, there I'm holding my beautiful bride and whatnot, and that was a 2019 Philanthropist of the Year. I think I went to just over 100 events, and
wow.
How can you do it? Well, 52 days in the week, but there were days that I would go to a breakfast, and then at La Paloma they'd have 2 different lunches in different ballrooms. Right. So I'd go to one luncheon, to another luncheon, and then I'd go to an event in the evening. That was a Thursday, but that was 4 events right there. And a Friday,
right.
I'd have another 4 events. So that's 8 events. So 100 events. I have pulled back. I'll tell you, I'm getting older, But now it's more
I understand. You said 69, I'm 70. I understand you mean about pulling back some.
Yeah, and now it's like maybe 60, 70 events. And it's so funny. The event I told you that I had met Humberto Lopez with, and so what comes around. At the beginning of this year, the club again has been struggling a little bit, the Hispanic alumni, and this, would you be our portrait of excellence? I said, I will, but I know just the woman that I want to be with me. Picked up the phone. I said, Serena Lopez.
Right.
She said, what, Dominic? And I said, Serena, I'm asking you to do this. She says, I'll only do this for you. I really don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it for you. And so Serena Lopez and I were honored, and they'd been with a foundation. They had an endowment of about $1.8 million, and they've been at that for like 15 years.
Right.
So they're like, Dominic, we want to try and get $200,000. So, well, here's a little picture of me and my bride. I know you can see that. I got to keep the crown.
Yes.
And I did the handstand. I said, I'm going to do whatever it takes to raise some money. We raised $600,000.
Yes. Beverly and I were at that event. It was a great event. Great event.
Yeah, and so now their endowment is $2.3 million, and everybody wins.
Yes.
These students that are first-timers going to college. We had a good time. Zarina and Bert have continued to be very good friends, very supportive. Zarina, I appreciate that, and again, she's only for you, and I'm like, oh, thank you, Zarina. And I live a blessed life, man. I have friends like you.
Yeah.
I have friends in the community, and they really step up and make me look good when I'm able to raise all this money. It's through the kindness of my friends and the Sethis, Neelam and Gulshan Sethi have helped me on many, many big projects.
Okay. Now, there's another award that you're about to receive. You brought that too.
Yeah, I don't know if it was.
Are we allowed to say it?
Yeah, I think they were going to announce it in 2 weeks, but it's going to be the first time that I'm going to receive some kind of business type of award,
right.
And it's in the middle of next year.
Yes.
They booked me out, or I don't say book me up. They say save this date. In this case, you're going to get an award. But a lot of the foundations, TUSD, AMFI, they're like, And even the Heart Ball, they have me, Dominic, you got to be one of our guests. You got to attend our event because we love your pictures, and a year out, 6 months out. So,
well, I know just working with my brother here, Dominic, that you have to get on his calendar early, okay? Because does fill up. A couple of weeks ago, I saw where you did, I think it was 4 events in one day.
Yeah.
Was that the same day as the Ep.1? Or
Yes.
Oh, you did a breakfast and talk about that day.
Believe me, it's all scrambled right now. I don't know if I could honestly, but yeah, and it's timing. And the other nice thing is, I put my suit on, and usually I wear a suit. I'm keeping it on and doing it and going kind of from place to place and place to place. But, a lot of people don't really. Let's say one of the events is at the casino.
Right.
I got to get dressed. Driving out there and back is an hour of my time. A 4-hour event is 4 more hours, and then I come home, and when everybody else is relaxing or whatever, I'm going through 400, 500 pictures, and I'm picking these out,
right.
And I'm going to give another 4 or 5 hours of my life. So that's an 8-hour day and I receive no money. I've been offered money and commission and all that type of stuff. I can't be hired. So if you want to hire me, I'm $10,000 an hour. Now, do you want to hire me, or do you want to me for free?
Right.
So they go with the free, and I only do it for nonprofits. It's a gift from my heart, and I tell them it's my gift. And they can use them any way they want. But like I say, 8 hours of my life is gone, and that's
right.
my probably my greatest asset. I got plenty of money. I don't know how much more time I have left.
Yeah, well, you got a lot of energy.
I
noticed that what got me about that one day when you were posting the pictures, yes, I saw the fact that you had on the same suit because I saw you at lunch at the EF.
Yeah.
But then also Danielle Batista was there also with you at almost all these different
Yeah,
events from Desert Diamond Casino.
Desert Diamond.
And she was wearing the same outfit I saw at lunch too. I'm like, okay, you guys just hanging out all day long, giving back to the community.
And we didn't even know that we were going to be there. We just dominate. In fact,
right.
she texted me last night for a project that she's working on. I said, I'm going to help you. Desert Diamond and Danielle are wonderful, wonderful community advocates, and she's a dear friend.
Well, I tell you, this has been a joy. I wanted people to not only meet and listen to you and your story, but every week now we will try to bring you somebody in this community so that people of Tucson can learn about who it is back there behind the scenes helping our community. So, Dominic, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, like I said, you're number one. You're the first one on this show in the Bird's Nest. So next week, join us, 9 a.m., November 14th, here on the Live the Dream Media Network for the next Bob Elliott Show. Our guest will be Trayon Coleman, who's from the nonprofit organization called ABC, A Better Community. Positive well wishes to everyone.